I failed. I'd set out on a mission to record 100 videos in 100 days and got pulled away for a number of reasons. Some related to work, some related to clients, some related to building out a venture studio at 10x Lab. But ultimately, this was a goal that I'd set for myself to create content over a set number of time, and I needed to keep a cadence in order to do that. And I was not able to keep up with that cadence. That being said, I'm not going to quit. I took some time over the Thanksgiving holiday, and really thought about why I wanted to create this channel. One of the reasons was I didn't see any content that I would have wanted to see coming up as a young technology professional. I spent a bulk of my career as a software engineer, building web mobile applications, APIs, data analytics, and what would traditionally be defined as digital transformation. Didn't see a whole lot of content focused on that type of path. Like, how do you go from a software engineer to an executive? What are the types of things that I had to go through in order to go down this path? I've had people ask about, have I had to deal with racism? Have I had to deal with, you know, different issues along the way that maybe slow down or block my path? And I've talked about those in private sessions, in group settings, and some one-on-ones, but not necessarily publicly. And that's really why I created this channel, was to think about and share that type of perspective. A good friend of mine who's the CIO at the Dallas Fed, and his brother shared something with me earlier this year that profoundly affected how I look at the arc and trajectory of my career and others' careers. And what he said was, when we talk about our career journeys, we'll tend to think about it in terms of, you know, I went from point A to point B to point C, yada, yada, yada. I'm now an executive. I'm now a CIO. I'm now a CFO or CMO or CEO. But what we tend to do is gloss over what he called the colorful parts of our careers. We gloss over the failures. We gloss over those times when we didn't succeed and when we set out to do something. We gloss right over them. And those are the parts of our lives and our careers that are the most helpful to others. Because when we do that, when we gloss over it, it makes it look like everything is perfect. Like we've never failed. And so if you're a young college student or high school student and you're looking at someone who you look up to and you believe that they've never failed, the first time you hit failure, you might give up. And that's not the case. We've all failed. We've all failed at times in our careers. And I think it's time for us to share those failures. Not necessarily to bask in them, but to make it clear that you can get past it. You can learn something from it and move on and find success. That's really the point. That's the point he was trying to make. And it impacted me. It impacted the others who were part of this private Zoom discussion. Because you look at him and he's a CIO of a Federal Reserve Bank, and he's responsible for, you know, all types of critical systems and technology strategy. But he shared parts of his career that resonated with me, that resonated with others. And I took his advice. And the next time I had a group discussion about my career, I shared those failures. It wasn't all rosy. I talked about failing out of Howard after my first year. I didn't fail out. I lost my scholarship. and just chose not to go back. Failure nonetheless. Man, I talked about being in construction, and as an electrician, learning the value of work. I worked with some really talented people in construction. I learned how to bend pipe. I learned how to pull 500 MCM wire. I learned how to lead others. That is the most important thing. You take those failures and you move on and you learn from it. And the ability to lead in these harsh environments allowed me to then lead others in an office environment. I knew how to delegate work. I learned how to break down a complex project into smaller pieces. But most importantly, I learned how to work and get work done. And I learned how to not let failures stop me. And so after a few years, I enrolled in Bowie State University, got my computer science degree, and continued to move on. And there's a lot more to that story, but I want to make a special call out to one of the best professors that I ever had, Professor Ray at Bowie State, because he's the one who convinced me to switch from business administration to computer science. He's the one who convinced me that technology was the way, and that the only way for me to find success in life, or the best way for me to find success in life, was to take this major, learn everything I can, and start to create value. And a lot of his lessons in class were revolved around that. And so those are the things that affected me. It helped me get past these different failures. And that wasn't the last time that I failed. But it's a really good example of not letting a big failure that a lot of people will let hold them back, will make excuses for why they should stop. Don't let that stop you. Move forward. That is the main lesson. And so, yes, I failed at creating 100 videos in 100 days, but I'm not going to let that stop from me creating a profound channel that will help others. So I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to get in more detail in terms of my career, in terms of the other failures that I've had, but then I'm also going to talk about the successes and what you can take from those. Because more than anything else, the reason why I love technology is because you can learn from your failures and create even bigger successes. And then those successes turn into more successes. That's why I love it. It's unlimited potential in technology. So, just want to give a shout out to everybody who supported me up to this point, and those who will support me in the future. I appreciate it. So like, subscribe, comment, and I appreciate you all sticking with me and now and into the future. All right, appreciate it. Talk to you later. Bye.